Oh yeah.
Hello, hello. I'd like to introduce you, the master of beekeeping, Seth
the,
Hill, the master, the right hander of Bob, and Bob. We know
the
Bob
other
as
Bob,
well.
the
Another
lesser
Bob,
Oh
Bob.
Bob
yeah.
too. So Steph, he's a beekeeper and he's worked for Bob. Not this
Not
Bob,
Bob Binnie.
Bob number one, Bob Binnie. And so Steph is also running his own operation as well, beekeeping next to the on his full time job. And I think a lot of beekeepers see him on Bob videos when you're watching videos, Bob updates all the time, and always mention Bob about him. And I think last year I did listen his one of his Bob video about you've been together with Bob sit down on the table in his office talking about beekeeping, and I was listening to this and I was like, wow. So now we got him here on YouTube, and I'm pretty sure Stet can share something with us. He could tell you about himself and also the master breeding queens, because there's a massive operation in what Bob does, and you I know you do the same thing. You're planning to do yourself things breeding. You're breeding yourself. So Seth. I'm from UK, so
Cool, man.
I'm yeah, and I'm Polish, so it's across the pond.
Oh
So
yeah.
across the water. So can you tell us a little bit about what you when you started doing that beekeeping?
Yeah, so I actually started back when I was in high school. My dad and me went and did a removal, and he got paid, and I got to keep the bees. So depending on how you look at it, I got the short end of the stick. But so I kind of got into beekeeping after that. We did about 30 or 40 more removals, and I kind of dropped it a few years later as I was going into college and senior year of high school, and then. Fast forward to 2020 and COVID came along, and we had to not evacuate, but we had to get out of the dorm rooms down at college. I went to college at Abraham Baldwin Agricultural College, and for a wildlife management degree. So I was kind of in my right field, I guess you could say. But anyway, so I came home and I needed a job, and I went and applied with Bob, and he gave me a job. And this month will actually be 3 years I've been working with Bob. So
Wow, that's take massive work what you've done.
oh yes, sir.
Massive learning what you've been doing from where you've been when you started and where you are now.
Oh yeah.
Um, and I actually listened to your first interview on YouTube with Greg. That
Oh,
was
did you?
really cool.
Yeah.
It
Oh
was
yeah.
really cool, and
I like Greg.
absolutely,
He's pretty funny.
yeah, yeah. I like Greg to listen as well. Yeah, great interview. And can you tell us about what's your plans for this year? What's the plans for this year? And
So
also strategy about the Varroa, because all of beekeepers think, some of beekeepers, we did speaking about Bob before, about Bob 2, I would say, about people think some people don't treat with Varroa. What effect come in that? Because I know you've been, when you got the interview with Bob, with Greg, you've been talking about that when you too late or somebody got around your area Varroa heavily. What
yeah,
happened with your bees?
I got you. So this year I actually got my first mite hit. The first year I really got into bees. I went from 8 to 80, and from splitting them so much, I got so many brood breaks. I didn't really have to treat nothing but oxalic acid in the wintertime, which was good. This past year, my treatments, I'm not really sure if they didn't work or if one of my neighbors moved in and mite bombed me, because I did rolls after I did my treatments and came up with zeros and one. I had one mite and one colony in one yard. Um, and then, fast forward 2 months and 4 or 5 of them are getting robbed out. And it's like, why are y'all dead? And I did a roll and came up with like 33. So it's like, somebody
They
either
spread
drop. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Absolutely. I'm kind of thinking the treatments didn't have their full blast effect either. we kind of had some bad weather for the kind of treatment I was using. So it wasn't really ideal. I don't know. I don't like to point fingers at other people. I kind of like to look at myself and see maybe what I did was wrong.
Absolutely.
But anyway, so that was the big push to get me to go down to South Georgia and get my colonies rolling like they are now. And, I wasn't planning on going as big as I'm going this year until about a month ago when I saw how big my colonies were and how many resources and all this, that, and the other, and how vast the amount of splits I could make right off the bat instead of having to do it in brackets when I got home. And then I've got, we're going to be splitting with queen cells at the end of this month. And I just did a graft on Thursday. So next week, and I could have did it sooner. I just kind of waited because that was the best time for me and my schedule to do the graft. And so I'll be splitting this coming weekend. Not this weekend, but the next.
So can you give us good tips about grafting?
There's a lot of...
You did have for the last 3 years.
Oh yeah.
Hands-on. I know it's not. I will tell you, it's not about. You got to get on your fingers on and in the graft.
Absolutely.
It's nothing free, but sometimes you could watch and you could pick that up very easy.
Oh yeah. So
with now, you work with master. I could tell it, Master Bob is absolutely. I never met a person. I never met him, Bob, but I'm. I know a lot of beekeepers, but this person is just outstanding beekeeping. Just
he's one of the best in the world. I believe.
Absolutely.
I don't know a lot of worldwide beekeepers, but the way he does things and the way he manages, there's a lot of new school and old school involved.
Yes, that's right. So, yeah. And also he always get this, like, when he fail, he know where he fail, and
absolutely
he know how to improve, and that's how we all learning. And a lot of beekeepers think, well, we fail, we go and change something different. But from the failing, you need to learn what's there happened, because that can be, like you just mentioned, you can't just blame neighbors of bees, but you need to look in yourself and on your operation, what you're doing mistake. And Bob is an example beekeeper where he absolutely crashing. That's just wow. That's amazing what he does. And so
Bob Binnie's like the master Yoda of beekeeping.
I told him that one time, and I don't think he's ever seen Star Wars, so I don't know if he got it or not.
Do or do not. There is no try.
Oh yeah.
but if there's a lot of work and organize scheduling the work for the hives. The woodwork work in the shed, and also in yards and manage everything. That's a lot organized. The Bob is just wow. I don't know the words to say, but it's just, for me, it's outstanding. But to you've been doing a lot. I know you've been doing a lot with queen breeding with Bob, and you've been traveling with Chris Werner. I'm right. You've been down there as well.
Where's that? To Chris? Not yet. I wanted to go this spring, but the bees got away from us, so I didn't get to go.
All right. So it is a question for you. So with the Varroa and all of these operations, so what you will say to the beekeepers, that is crucial because some beekeepers doesn't do mite wash, but I'm sure Bob and you does do mite wash, and I do it myself as well, and I just trying. And how important is the mite wash, if you could describe?
The mite wash tells you if you're in danger or if you're coming up on it or if you're clear for a little while anyway. Don't get me wrong. You wash 300 bees and you come up with a 0, neighboring colonies and neighboring yards may not be in the same shoes. You don't know everybody around you. That's the main thing about Varroa mites, I've learned. is other beekeepers don't think the way you do, and they don't do stuff the way you do. So you've got to, kind of have some CYAs in place for that.
Yep. Play defense.
Yeah, exactly. And mite washing is one of the easiest ways to figure out, what you got going on. I don't wash every colony. What I try to do is wash because I've got, let's see, most of my yards are 40 colony yards. So I'll wash 4 or 5 in there just to get a good idea. And don't get me wrong, one of the colonies may or may not have a few percentage higher, or if one's got 2 mites and this one's got 4 and I miss it, then I missed it. And, I'm going to start going south now, which is going to actually kind of hurt me on the Varroa scale because they don't go broodless down south. When I go, I might try to hit them with an oxalic or 2 if I can time it right before I go
before
south.
You go.
Yep.
Before you move.
Yep. And then
Did
when I move,
go broodless there, Seth? I mean, you're only a little bit north of me. I mean,
we did not. I don't think this year because we really had a mild winter up here. Where are you at, Bob?
South Carolina, Columbia.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's not too bad far away. What's your elevation? Do you know?
No idea. Flat.
Oh, okay.
We're flat.
Flat. Yeah, I got you.
We in UK we do get broodless.
Okay. For how long?
Yeah. Well, depends. Some of the year we could get caught for probably a month or 2.
Okay.
But some of the year we didn't have it. The last winter we didn't have it at all. The bees was most of the laying because a couple of surprises. Couple of surprises when there was queen was in there, and I was like, well, drone layer, and I was like, wow, what's going on? Because we have in December last year was plus 15, which is temperature warm, bees flying, that's what 70s.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
So the bees flying, and it was
Celsius, right?
Yes, that's
okay.
right. Yeah.
All right. You said 15. I'm like, that's cold.
no, fine.
But
so
I got you.
We got.
Then it was like that end of January, so that was very very warm.
Oh wow.
And so the bees was flying like mad. But this year was other way around. We have 3 weeks massive rain, and then hit temperature of minus really heavily, really minus, proper minus come -7, -10, which is very cold, and then you got warm again, cold again, warm again, cold again, and that's how we have here. So it's really, there's the best thing if the winter will come and just stay, stay for
exactly.
2-3 weeks. Yeah. Bees manage this, but here it's not easy to manage this. This is really, especially when it's damp. Water is the biggest. What damp is the biggest problem for the bees? They kill them basically.
Yeah.
So
we're 292 feet.
Oh wow, yeah, y'all are low. Holy cow,
we're flat.
Heck yeah. But the only reason I ask is because up here, this year, we only really got one cold snap. We didn't get a real broodless period. It stayed fairly warm through December. I can't remember exactly how warm, but I remember where's the cold at? And then we got some freak Arctic blast with -11, no wind chill, -11 cold. And then I think the week or 2 after that, it stayed in the 30s, and that was it. That was all. So we didn't really go broodless, I don't think, because our bees, I say our bees, my bees were small at the time, but Bob's bees are huge now. We went to go equalize 1 yard, and we set everything up as a double deep with 6 frames of brood in it, and we still pulled out 90 frames of brood to take to other yards.
Wow.
Oh, so you equalize
yeah.
them. Yeah, that's
yes,
right.
Sir.
That's what I do. All of mine as well. As soon as they get, warming up and I see the strength, I'll just equalize them, and that's so
I can't seem to ever get them to that point here. I don't know what it is, but this time of year coming into spring, it's like everybody's looking at big, huge boxes of bees. And mine, I've got a few Italian colonies that really blow up, but most of them are just kind of like, what's going on? You know, it's like
Interesting.
Yeah, it's weird. So
is there a lot of forage around you or not so much?
I live kind of in the woods almost, you know.
Okay.
I've got some subdivisions around, but it's like 15 acres of woods around me.
Interesting.
And it's just weird. I don't know. And I feed the hell out of them. So
yeah.
Do you have Bob? Do you have it behind? You've been mentioned about you have the Carolina.
Carolina jasmine.
Yes.
It's smells great, but it's toxic to honeybees. So
right, that's what I was thinking. I'm like, yeah. Well, I guess. I mean, is Carolina jasmine the same thing as yellow jasmine?
Yeah, same thing.
Oh,
that's
okay.
the one. That's the one. Yes, that is.
I got it everywhere.
Toxic.
Oh, wow. That could have something to do with it a little bit, I guess.
Well, hopefully the bees are smart enough, you know.
But you need to tell them, you need to put on them stickers on the flowers say do not touch this flower.
Do not forage.
Yeah.
So,
then they will not go in.
I just need a hard rain to go ahead and knock those blooms out, right?
Yeah.
Good to go.
So can you give us the good tip about the grafting?
Oh, yeah. The main thing I can tell you about grafting would probably be how you grab the larvae when you go to grab it. I like to dip my tool. Because most people don't have a shack. You can do it out of the front seat of a truck. This past weekend, I pretty much was doing it out of the front seat of a truck. Is to get it nice and wet and with some hot water. That way it's real pliable. And make sure that you don't flip them or damage them on the way out. If you just go in real nice and gentle, I can pull them back out. And this happened to me a lot when I first started. When I would slide them into the cup, I would flip them over. So that's the main, you don't want to, and I'd have to redo it and try to do it to where I wouldn't flip them over the right way. So that's the main tip. And another helpful thing that helps a lot, and a lot of new beekeepers probably don't have it, is a good old dark comb with a really smooth cocoon wall to where you can just scoop it out real easy. Because this past weekend, I was pretty much doing it off a foundation, and that was not fun. That sucked. But those are the two main tips: is just get a good frame and just be sure that you don't flip nobody or beat them or bang them up on the wall.
So you say how you take it, that's how you have to put in a
right. Exactly. Yeah. If you pick them up on one side, you want to lay them back down it. Yep. Exactly. Bob's got a good
little Chinese tool.
Yeah.
But he didn't say you. He's first time graft, and he's got first 2 queens.
Yeah, I did my first graft. I made some mistakes, but I got two cells out of it.
So. There you go. I got you.
But you more richer. You have 2 queens.
Yeah.
There you go. Yeah. Oh yeah.
We're going
next
back
time.
Tomorrow.
Next time, be more.
Already nice and polished out by the bees. Got them a nice little ring of wax on there, ready to go, ready to accept.
Oh, so you prep them?
No, well, this was the one that I pulled out with the 2 cells on it.
Okay.
All the other ones, they were failures.
I got you.
We won on 2 games, 2.
And another thing, I don't know if y'all know this or not, but when you graft, if you smoke or like chew nicotine or do anything of that, you can't lick the tool because the nicotine from whatever you're, consuming will kill the larvae. I know that from personal experience. I'm a cigar smoker, and the one time I licked the tool, I got a less than, I think it was a 10% take.
They don't like Black and Milds, man?
No.
So that's a very good tip. That is a very good tip.
So if you're a smoker or you chew or do anything involved gum, if you're chewing Nicorette gum, you can't lick the tool. I usually just do it on a rag anyway. That's the way I like to do it. But if you want to be fast, you can just eat it. But if you smoke, you can't do that. So
it's quite important to not touch a base.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, you want to keep it clean too. Like if it's all junky and got wax and stuff on it, just go ahead and wipe that stuff off. It
Yeah,
kind of helps with the pull.
you could have warm water. Put in warm water. It's
Yes,
better. Put in warm water and put in your mouth. Yeah. Even like you say, that might even work. Do when you take antibiotics or someone got some medicine taken, that might do as well damage.
I didn't even think about that, but you're right.
That might be damage because if your nicotine don't make that effect on that possibly if you get like some people take medicine for heart or something, there are serious antibiotics, serious medicine in there, so that can be effect as well on the grafting as well. Yeah, that's a very good tip.
And cured the deformed wing virus all at the same time.
Yeah, right.
Penicillin.
Wow. Yeah, but it's a quite very good point actually, Seth put on there. I didn't even think about that. That's a very good point. That's wow.
Now, do you guys prime the cups or you do a dry graft?
We just dry graft. Usually, when we do our graft, they've got a pretty good amount of royal jelly in the comb. Sometimes they don't. When they don't, that's when it gets tough. But usually there's a pretty good little pool down there, so it's real easy just to pick and pull.
Right.
But I usually don't fool with no priming the cups or whatever. I don't know how you. That's how much I've never really done it, so I don't.
So I done a hi Michael. I done a last year because a friend of mine, he said to me, you should do an wax caps.
Yeah.
So I done a wax caps and I actually like this. It's quite nice.
Really?
So yes, I'll show you. I got the form here. Actually got the form. I'll bring in that form here. You could see that form. It's quite nice. And basically you just tip the wax in there, and it's you just after a couple of minutes when it's cooling down, we're just tipping up in all of them, fill them up. Sometimes yeah. So when you put them in yeah, I will make a video about that. And basically, when you put them in your cap, you actually could make only you have to cut just little like by knife, little cut to put nicely in them. So always wax, natural wax. So you know like plastic cups, they're coming from anywhere.
Yeah.
And that could we don't know what we touch or who touch you know.
Yeah, this is true. That could have a little bit of an effect on the take sometimes too, maybe.
Yeah. And this one, when I did put in there, was 100% take on this wax.
Ah.
Yeah.
Interesting.
And that was the last. That was my last round. I took it on the.
Don't kill Bob. He'll have you in there with dowels and dipping and wax. Thousands of Queen's cups.
But Bob, that's a very good point. But this is, you could make it on a stick if you know the size of the exactly what the cell should be. Okay, you actually could take a wax. You have warm wax, and you could actually put the stick in there, and you just stick it in and take them out. Stick it in, take them out. Stick it in, take them out. So you just stick it in, cold water, take it out, water, stick it in, and you got it.
I see what you mean.
Do you know what I mean, Seth?
Yeah, I see what you're talking about now.
That is exactly you just exactly take it the thickness of the bee. The bees make actually basically how thickness is on that cells. So it doesn't need to be like very thick and all that stuff.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
It's very easy. So
I got you.
Seth. Craig asked him, Seth, are you seeing any drones?
What's up, Craig? I'm seeing a lot down south. Up here, they've just really started laying them. They haven't quite started hatching yet.
I've got him here, buddy.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he's just north of me by maybe an hour and a half, 2 hours.
Oh, okay. I got you.
Won't be long.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
North Carolina, but not the wall. Not yet. He doesn't have yet, probably. So, well, thing is, we have in our hives there was the drones for winter drones, but now when I did see looking last time for food, how much they have.
Yeah.
It was nice temperature. Just quickly looking in through, so didn't see anything on there. It's just bees, no drones.
Yeah.
So you have a lot early. You already enjoy your
Oh yeah.
beekeeping. I'm going to show you that form. One sec.
Okay, go for it.
So let me figure out how this worked. So you got the COVID call from college, and you were standing out there, and you went up to Bob Binnie. We'll work for bees.
Yeah, right. No, I actually didn't even. When I started working for Bob, I didn't even want bees. I was like, that's a lot of work. Little did I know, in 3 years I'd be having, my own operation. But
that's the same thing we were talking before the show. Looks like them little poppets that you can get at Walmart.
That is interesting. It does look like a little poppet. So how does that work on the bar? You just
So
it looks like a Nikon cup.
No. When you got the cap, you just basically. I don't have the caps in here, but I will show you on the cap how it fits.
Oh, does it have the little nipple on the back?
So this is how you make them. That's how you do. This is the form.
Okay.
You just put the wax in. As soon as they're ready, you put in the cold water. Out. Tick, tick. It's like poppet. Yeah, popping out. And then the thickness on there, it's quite nice. So you could cut by knife, and you could stick on the caps on the not on the caps what we're grafting to. Is the other one, the dark one, the black one. You could screw you screw into the bar.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I
Bob,
see
can
what
you
mean.
Yeah.
Like
Bob
this?
have here. If that.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
JCB
that's yeah. So you got JCB, but I have different. You got another one is a different one as well.
Well, this one's Ceracell. That's a Ceracell cup.
That's a weird looking cup.
Well,
yeah, that's very.
The thing about this cup is that I like about it.
That's the difference for the different queens.
The beauty of this is it fits right in a roller cage.
Oh, okay. I got
2
you
seconds.
now.
I have a look something. 1 sec.
So that's the beauty part about that.
I got you.
And
interesting.
So it's the frame is kind of wonky though. I guess it
would they have their own frames for them too.
Yeah, so I got that too. I got too much gadgets over here. I'm like it's Beekeeper gadget over here. So it's got a rail, Seth, and this just twists in. The cup just twists in the frame or in the rail. Then it'll hold in.
What?
But the problem is, if you're grafted to it, you either got to do individual cups and spin them on.
Yeah.
Or you got to turn it, right? You got to turn it so you can graft into them.
That's interesting.
So, Steph, do you see them?
That's a regular.
Oh yeah, I can see it.
Yeah. So you screw that in, yeah.
Yeah.
To the bar. Okay. Oh, there. And on top you put the black plastic ball, like holding the cell. So when it's holding whole cell, you just put that cap wax inside.
Oh, okay. I see now. That's what I was wondering, how they attach to the bar. I was like, but that makes sense. Yeah.
And then you basically not touch it. You not touch anything inside. It's all clean, nice, waxy inside.
That is cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I will make a video about that.
I'll be watching that. I'm curious to see how that works, in person. I get the concept, but.
So you saw our buddy Houston and Earl today?
Yeah. Oh yeah. They came and got, that's what took me a minute. They had a ride lined up, and I think their driver backed out on them at the last minute or something. So they had to kind of coordinate how to get back down here.
So you've been in the bees today, did you?
What's that?
You've been in the bees today?
Not much. I wanted to get to a yard, but I was trying to put spark plugs in my truck, and I don't know if y'all know much about mechanicking. I do not, and I put all the spark plugs in, and I just thought to myself, I forgot to gap them all before I even put them. So I had to take them back out, put them back in. And then I had to go get those colonies set up for Houston and Earl. So I had kind of a busy day-ish. I had to do some stuff around the house this morning and then basically get over to my grandma's and start a little, it was kind of a lazy day, not much, just trying to get things squared away.
Yeah.
Yep.
So, question for you as well.
Yeah.
So how is Bob always does the operation with the honey. So much honey, is going through his operation.
Yes.
So this is very interesting for me because that's a massive operation of honey plus his own honey coming in as well.
Yes.
And,
Yes.
So are you be working with the spinning as well, or
are you talking about extracting? Is that what
extracting? Yeah.
I do. I don't do much of Bob's extracting. He's too scared to let me run the expensive cow. But I mainly do like pulling. Obviously I help pull the honey. Every once in a while I'll be like unloading boxes to help keep them guys clean if it's raining and we're at the shop that day or something, just to kind of help the process go a little faster. I spin my own honey. It's kind of slow, but I have a pretty good system. I can do about 50 supers in a night if I'm by myself and I go fast,
What size extractor do you have?
A 612.
Okay. 612.
Yeah.
When you say a night, you mean like all night?
Oh, no, I'm talking like I get off work with Bob, start at about 6 o'clock, and then maybe get in the bed at like 3 o'clock in the morning. It's a night. So
that,
wow.
Well, what are you, so when I had a similar setup to that, it was, the bottleneck was the uncapping process, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I couldn't uncap more than I could put in my extractor. So it was taking quite a while. Do you have a uncapping tank that you are uncapping and letting it drain while you're sitting there?
Yeah, so I actually bought one from Deadouts, and the first time I was going to use it, I was going to spray it out and let it dry out while I was at work, and it was leaking in like 3 spots. And I'm like, what? And they're expensive. Stainless steel's not cheap.
Right.
And I was like, man, I don't want to use that. And I got it from Bob, so I showed Bob, and he's like, well, I might have one. And I cleaned all the cobwebs out of it, and it was hanging up. He had it hanging out upstairs from when he used to use it at his house. And so that's the one I use. It just stays at the shop for, sometimes they'll cut comb with it. If they're not cutting comb with it, he'll let me use it.
Right.
But that's the one I use. It'll hold like 20 frames. It's just a 20 frame uncapping tank.
Right. But while you got 12, you're uncapping 20, and then you're always ahead of the game.
Yeah, exactly.
And so this year I upgraded. I've got a licensed 30 frame extractor.
Oh, boy.
This past season. So 30 frame and the 1500 millimeter tank. So.
Oh, wow.
And a steam, not the fancy schmancy steam uncapper, that they have, but the tabletop one. So you put the frame on, you slide it, and it's got steam blades, and it slices the cappings off. You flip it over and do the other side. So
really?
It makes it a lot quicker, yeah.
How much you like that thing?
I like it pretty good. The thing is that you have to have, the cone's got to be fat, right? If the honeycomb's not fat,
I see.
You find yourself picking some out.
Still. A young beekeeper with no comb foundation probably wouldn't want to use it.
So, it is definitely much faster. When someone's like, "Why'd you get the 30?" Well, I can do 3 boxes at a time where I could do 8 frames.
Of course, absolutely.
So I have 20 frames. And,
really? Okay.
Coin, yeah. Which is a Hungarian one. I was thinking about license, but license got the engine on top, the electrics is on top.
Yes.
The coin doesn't have. It's all on the side, so nothing can fooling. Yeah, nothing can fooling inside. Yeah.
So on my license, The motor's on the bottom,
Yeah.
and the controller's on the side, and it's belt driven.
Oh, that's sweet.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, my little dude's got everything on top. You reach up and turn the speed and the on and off, and
the old one what they have before, they have on top. This one, the license have on the bottom.
that's
Like
interesting.
you have. Yeah. So my ones have on the side, everything on the side, and it just engine on the bottom, and rest of the electrics and everything's on the side. So it's easy to manage. You could open both traps on top. You could open, you could do whatever you want, and it's easy to manage. And also you could manage 20 deeps. You could put 20 deeps or 20 supers, up to you. You could play, or 20 medium.
Oh wow!
So it's it's a very nice.
Yeah, that thing will spin.
Oh yes, this is for. That's why I already bought some brand new early this year, well last year, and we've been using through the season, and I managed to get 1 ton honey through that. So.
Oh yeah, there you go.
2,000 pounds. So it's a lot.
Oh heck yeah, dude, that's awesome.
Yes. So
do you run 10 frame or 8 frame? You run 10 frame, right?
10 frames, everything 10 frames, double brood.
Double brood chambers, hell yeah. That's the way I do. I want to do mine that way, but I'm probably going to end up in a lot of singles.
Single. I think single brood chamber is not for me. I think you won't get strong bees. I remember Bob, one of the interview of Bob mentioned you won't get results of the bees, results of and honey and everything. They need to be power. The power beyond the OBP is
absolutely
double chamber. So
well, now in Canada, Ian and those guys are all running singles. But with that being said, they have such a strong nectar flow.
Oh, dude. He's got thousands of acres of canola at his expense.
James McNally, that comes on the streams all the time, he got out of 78 colonies, he got 3,800 pounds of honey.
Golly!
And he said that's a crop.
Come on, Steph, that's why we have to move over there.
Yeah.
But to be honest, be honest, it's not just over there. Here in UK last year, where you have our canola was flowering, bees was going nuts in my area. They was just going nuts. And my bees not been directly to the canola. There was probably about 500, maybe 600 yards away from that. Even that, you could see how they've been nuts. They've been flying like mad.
Oh wow!
Yeah, so because it is this, canola. Like when a canola flowering, the smell is going for like a couple of miles. You could smell that from a couple of miles. So it's a lot.
Really?
Yes, it's a massive attraction. So like Ian have a huge, massive, say 50 or 20 hectares of canola.
Yeah.
You imagine if it's a lovely day, sunny. You imagine the smell going in everywhere around there.
Oh,
so all the bee yards around there, the bees just go like nuts. So that's why there's a massive difference.
Yeah. Oh yeah. It does have a lot.
But Ian, if you're looking on Ian, he does the nukes as well. Yeah, you put the nukes in. That is a power. You put 3 nukes on the bottom.
Yeah.
And they're harvesting in 2 or 3 brood boxes. This, deeps.
Right.
So you got 3 queens, and the 3 queens laying all the time.
Yep.
And that is there's I call the horsepower, serious horsepower. That is. that even not says double brood. That's even, I think that we could call double brood basically.
It's like 1 3/4.
Yeah, but the queens laying all the time. You have
and they're constantly moving the stores up, right?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Oh yeah.
Because this is, and they heat them up as well. They're lovely heating. So it's a everybody different way of running. Like you could ask 10 beekeepers, then get 10 different questions, 10 different answers.
Without, of course.
So
you ask one beekeeper and you'll give them an answer, and they'll do something else anyway.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Well, that's how sometimes it is. People, do different. So, all right, let's go on some questions. So I put half. It's me going to then.
See, when you started with Bob, you really didn't think you didn't want to keep bees really at that time?
Not much. I was kind of like, yeah, it'd be a cool job for the summer. And what got me back into it was my dad was like, well, you used to keep bees back in high school, and I need bees to pollinate my garden. So I'm going to buy 2 nukes, and you're going to take care of them. Because I was living at home at that time. I wasn't really, it was kind of rent, I guess.
Right.
But anyway.
How you going about getting out yards? You're like, I got yard down south and yard over here. And
so the lovely thing about being a talkative Southern guy is you can eventually talk somebody out of a bee yard. But, usually I'll just be like, yeah, I'm a beekeeper. And especially in our area, what's up, Bruce?
Hi, Bruce.
I don't know how it is over in the UK, but over here, a lot of the good old boys before the Varroa mites had bees. So when, their grandkids or, maybe the old timers' daddy had bees, they'd be like, they love bees and they love honey around here too.
Right. Yeah, we got the same. Is not. I would say not all the same, because it's like I got 4 children and no, my boys, they don't much interesting on bees. They like, they like the honey, but not to be frank. And that's different. Some people, I know, some people try and put the children's in the beekeeping kits.
Yeah.
You can push them, but it might work, it might not work. It might work wrong way around. So
yep.
Better to don't push them, because you can be affected to not what you want, like hurt. So
yeah.
What time is over there? So it's 20.
What time is it over
20,
your way?
20 past noon.
Midnight.
Bruce?
Really?
Midnight. Yeah.
Golly.
Yeah.
It is.
I mean, Seth, I'm working nights as well, so I have full-time job like yourself.
Oh, golly, man. What do you do? 12-hour shifts?
No, I work in 8-hour shifts.
Oh, okay.
10 to 6.
Ooh.
Then I'm sleeping a couple of hours, and then there's a beekeeping and gardening.
Dang, that would be rough. That would be rough.
Yeah. Brian, everything. If you want to do it, then then yes. So, but some people will not do it. Some people will say, night is the night for sleep, day is for work.
Heck yeah. So what do you do?
I work in contact lenses.
Really?
US business. Yeah. So Cooper Vision. So we actually I'm actually charging the packing. We're packing them in contact lenses, and they go everywhere, and going to US and all around the world.
Oh,
Japan,
cool.
China, everywhere in the world.
That's interesting.
So, Brian asked Seth, are there any tricks to maximize your honey production?
Exactly. Oh man,
that's a good question.
That's like asking, is there any tricks to maximizing horsepower? It depends, where you're at, when your honey flows are, and what size colonies you want to run. Like Sebastian was saying, if you got double deeps, you're going to get more bees, so you're going to get more honey. And, it's like Ian up in the north, just like we just talked about. He runs singles, but he's got such massive nectar flows. He's doing his Nuke battery thing. He knows how to stack the boxes up and make it happen. Generally speaking, double deeps make, I think a little less honey than a single will, but there's so many more bees, they can just gather more. So you get, for what the one unit, the space, in my mind, like if you're going to have 50 singles on the ground, or if you're going to have 50 double deeps, I want 50 double deeps. But the problem is, can I afford the equipment for the double deeps? Because, another box full of frames is expensive for me.
Right.
For a guy like Bob, it's just another box with frames. It's whatever. But
tax deduction.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. But the biggest tip would probably be to time your colonies. And it's going to be kind of difficult because I haven't quite mastered this with my own bees yet. but you want to equalize and set everybody back to where they're going to swarm just after the honey flow starts. So they don't, they won't swarm. They'll forget about it. And that is difficult for me because I haven't quite nailed down the pattern like Bob has.
So I have trick. I'm gonna tell you the trick. So if everybody listens, so listen to this now. So if you got colonies, couple colonies, you could still basically the brood. Take a food out from the nest. If it's 10 frames, make sure it's 10 frames brood inside. The brood have to be emerged next few days.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the frame is got to be 50-50 between have already to be emerging and half it's already emerged, already gone. So get cage, close the queen in the cage. Close queen in the cage. Okay, so you could do that, and basically if you do that double brood, okay, you got 20 frames brood.
Oh, yes.
Okay, so you put 20 frames brood in there. You imagine Seth could tell you how many bees come and emerge from the 20 frames.
Golly.
This is a horsepower where the brood box, basically the brood box will not be filled up with brood. The queen will still laying, she will still laying, but make sure the frame where you left her here with the cage, you could do even in two. You could make a cage for 2 frames, but make sure there is half frame, clean frame, so when the bees emerge, she got place to laying, but she will only laying in 2. But the bees from a 20 frames of brood, when they emerge, that will be your bonus, huge, because they will manage all of the when they emerge. As soon as they emerge from that frames, they will fill that up. They will fill that up honey in the boxes. Also, you could do that with old queen, because as soon as you get the old queen, you could actually take that queen away.
Oh yeah,
and let them play, and they will work like crazy. So that is another trick you could do it.
Yeah, absolutely.
That was a friend of mine. He's a bee farmer. He's running 350 hives up in UK, and he told me that I did that in Hedda 2 years ago, and I tell you what, it was crazy. It was just crazy. They've just been like mad.
Wow.
So I done it on a single brood, not a double. So you imagine if you do on a double.
Oh God.
What happened?
Yeah.
So
that's a bomb.
That's a bomb, exactly. So you will just adding the boxes on top, because that colony will go like like gnats. So
yeah,
they got nothing else to do.
I might have to try that.
That's exactly because the bees, they are for working. They're not lying down in the Bahamas. They like work. And a lot of people doesn't know. People say, "Oh, bees swarm." Of course they swarm. If they don't have space, the CO2 is so high, bees go. Mm-hmm. Basically, same thing. If you give them work to do all the time, and this is the trick, you could do work to them. You actually could, as soon as the honey flows stop, you actually got lovely split, because so you imagine you got the queen you shut down for 14 days in 2 frames. You take the frame, you take this cage out. You lock the queen in the 10 frames on the bottom later on, after you have harvest honey, and you imagine how many bees you have in there, and you have a lovely fresh brood. You can make a lovely splits. You could get lots of sting to do. From one colony, you could make probably 3 or 4 colonies, strong splits.
Oh yeah.
From the one colony, and wherever you leave, that will be strong as well, without question. So you will get honey. You will get lovely queens, because there will be there'll be lot bees. There will be lot Nuke bees as well. So they will be feed the larvae properly. So there'll be lot good effect for you, a lot of bonuses. And
absolutely.
I know at work. I try. When he told me, he said, "What's what you need to do?" I was like, "Well," he said, "Don't worry. I'll tell you now. If you lock them in the cage make sure the frame is very tricky. Make sure the frame is not fully brood. So it's 50-50. So she have space to laying. When they emerge, then she's got place again to laying. So she got every sometime open. She's moving on it, but all the bees, they bring the honey in the boxes like mad. So they have lots of space. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
And it's a lot trick for free.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Bruce mentioned about my world record.
You got a world record?
Of course I do, yeah.
Of course, don't you? Don't you?
Like, of course, yeah.
Bruce, Steph doesn't know. See, good you mentioned, Bruce.
This is news to me, man. I didn't know that. What's your world record, man?
I did grew the longest cucumber in the planet in the world.
No way.
Yes.
How long was it?
Yeah, last year.
He said.
It was over 8 foot, nearly 9 foot.
What? No.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
So
Holy
it was big,
cow.
yeah. Yes, that's right. Yes, Bruce knows.
That's awesome.
A 9-foot cucumber. You could have fed all of Ethiopia with that cucumber.
Well, thing is, I have a friend of mine. He asked me. He said, "Do you any growing already now? Because there's a shortage of food in the shops. Because there's massive shortage of vegetables and peppers and everything in the shops.
Right.
That is massive. There's some of shops they're empty. If you don't go in very early in the morning, you don't have it. That's how it is now shortage.
Really?
Because all electric's up, everything's up, and the farmers can't produce that because that's too expensive.
I see.
So a lot of people doesn't know. I went actually to the farm shop today. Actually, my honey took my honey. Bob, you remember I mentioned last week to the farm shop?
Yeah.
So I managed to get another farm shop. So I took a honey down today.
Awesome.
Yeah. So in my local area, all my farm shops, I'm now got 4 of them, and small one shop. So it's 4 farm shops and 1 small one shop. So I'm very good on that.
Dude.
You know,
awesome.
Get on us.
My farm shop is the tailgate of my pickup truck. I just back it up to the front of the yard and drop the tailgate down with the honey on it, and people stop in and buy honey.
Do they really?
Yeah, I'll put one post on Facebook in our local area community that, hey, I'm out here today, and then they'll start dropping by and buying honey.
No
Amazing.
kidding.
That's amazing.
I got a booth at one of the local flea markets, and we do pretty okay. Some weekends are better than others, but I sell a good bit.
How much you getting a pound up there, Seth?
So for the wildflower, it's $8 a pound, which is, I'm not trying to make a lot of money. I'm trying to just get my name out with the honey and stuff.
Well, we're getting 10 a pound over here.
That's not bad. That's pretty good. I
had a customer get mad at me tonight. He's like, every time I come here, I get 1 pint in a pound squeeze bottle, and you give them to me for $20. It's like, I don't think I do that. I don't think I'm that guy. I might have done it one time, but I don't think I've done it every time.
Yeah.
So, we got here. We got £10, which will be what to be $12 for pound honey. Multi-flower.
Oh, really? Wow.
Yeah, multi-flower or any honey, actually. Most of any honey. Just the canola you could sell cheaper a little bit because a lot of people doesn't want canola. But
do you have any specialty honeys over there in UK?
Yeah, we got some. Yeah, we got the sourwood, which we call linden honey.
Really? Y'all have them?
Yeah. Oh yeah, I got lots of them, man. I'll tell you what. One of my apiaries, one of my apiaries, it's full of trees around my apiaries. When they're flowering, it's just go wow. It's just. So yeah, so we got quite a few different honey there as well. So I don't know, Facilia.
I've heard of that, but I can't name it off the top of my head.
Google up Facilia they're using on the farm. Basically, they are flowering like pinky flower. Bees going nuts on this. They just go like mad on us. When they start flowering, very nice honey, very lovely honey.
Oh wow!
It's not very sweet, but it's like It's between, so it's not very sweet, but it's lovely, lovely taste.
Good
This
and
honey.
smooth.
Yes, lovely in there.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, and then we go pumpkins. You could have pumpkin honey as well here because they grow not far from us. They grow a lot of pumpkin. So yeah, so beans they grow in field beans as well. So
Oh,
you
yeah.
could have that as well. That's a good honey as well from field bean. Flower Street Farm Bees. He mentioned about Facilia. Yeah, that's right, Facilia. Yeah.
Facilia. Okay.
You could actually you get the seeds and on the edges somewhere on edges where overgrowing somewhere you could hit that on there. That will grow there. And Facilia is not just a 1 year season. They will regrow for follow year as well.
No kidding. I guess that would be biennial.
Because they're flowering. They're flowering in after the flower. They're going for the seeds and they falling down in there. So they will regrow again.
No kidding. I'll have to look that up. I wonder if we got them. I'm sure we have them. We got, but I'll have to look that up.
Yeah, that's right, Bruce. Yeah, password is the same. Yes, that's right, Linden.
Yeah. Oh, okay, I got you.
Yeah. So yeah, we got that lot about here in this area.
Basswood's pretty good. That's not bad.
Yes, yeah. That's honey going really, really good.
I'll have to invite Bob over so he can taste my honey and tell me what it is. I've never met it. I can just taste it. Yep, that's this.
He's pretty good at it.
Can't have Laurel. Throw all that in the trash can.
Oh yeah.
So I have questions. So how is do you do any honeycombs?
I personally have not. Bob has been buying his comb. We tried it 2 years ago, I think, with when sourwood was rolling in, and it wasn't really a good sourwood year. Mm-hmm. So they didn't do well with the combs. So I've never done some comb. I wouldn't mind trying it. But you got to have good, strong, big old double deeps, and all of mine are probably going to be singles this year. I might have a few double deeps in a couple yards just because it might, stack a dead out on something.
Yeah. So the thing is, with the combs, I done it because I follow Mike Palmer as well. I have a lot of Mike Palmer in there, and I was speaking to him, and I asked questions about that, and he said, Good is spring honey. When you got spring honey and there's nice cut frames, that is the way to do nice cut comb. So I know you probably know, you heard probably he does a lot of cut combs. They do a lot.
Oh yeah.
They do massively a cut comb. And I find out in cut comb here, it's quite good really well. Since we started, last year we done a lot, year before we done a lot, and a year before so in quite nicely coming, but we sold out from what we have last year. We sold all of them. Actually, one of the shows, it was like music things and farmers and market and things like that. 3 days. We put 50 for the test to see how's that going.
Yeah.
The 50 was sold in less than a few hours.
Whoa, that's really good.
Yeah, I was like, whoa. This is so. This year, this year is a plan because there's less work. You don't need to. You don't need to get extracting. You don't need to get messy. Just to cut them up and.
Oh yeah, slice them up, stick them in the jar.
Close our label up. Done. Thanks very much.
Yeah, buddy.
And it was very easy to do that as well. So.
Mm-hmm.
So I have a question as well. How do you manage to do that? The after winter you got the dead I would say bees, the dead hives.
Dead combs.
Yeah,
dead combs. I got you. So what I did, it was getting cold enough when they died. I didn't really have to worry about wax moth or hive beetle or anything. So I just stacked them up, and I wasn't really planning on using them until after I went south, and then I thought about it, and I thought to myself I could just stack them, on a colony and make a double deep as they're growing. And so basically, usually what I'll do like paramoth, moth crystals. I think you can do like a cheapo Walmart or Home Cheapo version. I've never tried it. I've just used the real thing. I've got a bunch of it laying around, so that's usually what I do with my dead comb is or drawn comb or whatever, medium super that had some brood get in it. Stack it up.
Just example, if I have dead one, and there's no brood in there.
Yeah.
Just the fruit. What you will do with this hive like this?
So usually what I'll do is if it's full of food or got a bunch of food, I'll just open up the middle 3 frames and slide comb or whatever in there, and then just stack it on top of a single, make it a double deep.
So basically, you're not cleaning them and nothing like this. You just
no, not much. You talking about if they get eat up with wax moth and stuff?
Just take it, slap it on top of another box.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah.
But the dead ones kind of we don't know. They got disease or they don't have disease.
Right. Oh yeah. No, I don't worry about none of that.
I know bees clean that up. They do clean that up. But everybody mentioned they do different ways. Some people melt the wax up, and they think they melt it up and they renew frames again.
Huh.
Some of beekeepers do.
That's
interesting. I basically do the same what you just said. If I have got dead ones, I actually make it for splits them as well. Very easy for splits.
Oh yeah. Yep.
What I done, I have a couple of dead ones actually of this winter, which last winter I went 100% through. This winter, fortunately.
Whoa.
That happens. So we all learning.
That's pretty sweet.
So I took the frames out, clean up what I need to clean, and burn everything. Brood boxes burned by smoker, fire. Burn it up properly.
I got you now. Yep.
And the gas and burn it up and put it back in, and waiting when is the time come, then I will put splits in there, and I've got colonies back again down there. So
but
I'm asking the question.
Is a good way to treat them too. That way you don't have to put naphthalate and all them chemicals in there, and you can about just put it right directly back in a beehive. You don't have to wait several months for the rain to rain on it.
No. So I have actually new honey supers. I don't run brood boxes on deep basically on honey because that's too heavy.
Yeah.
It will kill me. Some of the colonies last year I have quite high. So that will be basically my backer will be just
hey,
disaster.
That's a good problem to have if you need a ladder to pull honey supers, man.
So I think you could one of colonies I did last year was Tula and me. So it was I managed a double brood on her, and she got like nuts. So the bees just going and going and going.
That's all. Man,
she was laying lovely and everything, and they're just growing, like just adding the boxes and honey take it out and just adding boxes, and keeping building was nice flow, and then suddenly stop. So but then they stopped. That's fine. I managed took the honey out, left it where they could manage to get food, and then we got started again 2 weeks later, start float again, and it was with no problem, and they will start going like mad again. Mad again. So I did watching few actually. Bruce actually did mention one of the guys, very tall hives you have. And this is example, you do run and manage on mediums. That's all of the horsepower as well, because the queen laying on the first 3 mediums frames, and it's so much easy work because you don't need to. Basically, there's not that much lifting. We're lifting brood boxes, full brood boxes.
Right.
So the only problem with that medium setup is you're using twice as many boxes, twice as many frames.
Yeah.
The cost can get out of control. When you're looking at it from a commercial aspect, when you're doing hundreds of colonies, then you're just like, well, okay. So if I'm running doubles, that means I need 4 medium boxes, $100, and 40 frames. That's another $200, so now you got $300 into boxes and frames.
Right. It is nice on the back. I will say, I help a lady on one of the lakes around here, And I think we're going to get her converted over to mediums because she's starting to have back problems. It's not from the bees. She's just,
From old.
From being, Well, she's been, she was kind of in a physical kind of career choice, and she's not really brawn enough to be doing what she was doing, but she was doing it. But I think her back finally crapped out on her.
Right.
So we're going to work on getting her colonies transferred over into mediums. And I used to help a guy when I first got back into bees. He ran all mediums. That's where I got the idea for her to do it from. And it was nice, man. You just pop the box. You can about pick a full box up one-handed and move it around. But
so here in UK, most beekeepers, what I know, in the club in the local here, they're most running in supers.
Really? They're running mediums?
Yeah, they're running medium in honey. And then brood box is normal. No, brood box is normal. But the English, as I say, the course national, no long shots, they're very small. They're like, I would say, 60% from what's a long shot deep. So it's small.
Deep.
Yeah, not the national hives. So in this one, if you run that on these boxes, you got to get double or even go for full. Because if not, they will swarm. They got no space.
Oh yeah, absolutely, yeah. They'll swarm on you in a hurry.
So but other than that, I would say the prices what honey we have here, I would say is good. What we sell them off, and I see the good potential in the honey, creaming honey.
Yes, I definitely.
Yeah, it's Poland. In Poland, back to say, because I'm Polish and I could tell you, I know cream honey in Poland. It's quite popular for the last few years, massively.
Really?
Yeah. Over there, it's most beekeepers they do a creaming honey. So license it come from Poland. Actually, fun enough, it's not far from my house. It's actually come from where I come from.
Really?
Yeah, and they do the machines. They got the creamers. I did mention last time the good creaming honey. It's very important to very slow mixing. And there's a temperature in there. There's a heat in there. I think it's 37 to 36 degrees.
Right.
Yeah, and you cannot hit over 40. It's got to be around about that. And a slow mixing. So the honey is slow mixing, so that air doesn't get in there. Mm-hmm. So when it's a lovely creaming honey. Mm-hmm. So it's not cheap, the creaming machines, but there's definitely worth investments.
Flower Street Farms just got his attachment this year too for his creamer.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I want to get into it because, like you say, it's expensive, but people will pay for it and they like it. So
a friend of mine, in Poland, he does breeding queens.
Yeah.
And he's probably last year they run about 5,500 queens breed last year.
Whoa!
Yeah. And the most things what he does is in honey they do creaming. Most of his honey is creaming. So they do. I just give you an example. They do like raspberries. They do blueberries one. So all that, it's creaming. So they're adding, just example, if they got canola, they will add raspberries, but they have to be a frozen. Do you know why?
Mm-mm.
So when you're frozen,
takes the liquid out, the moisture.
No. What you need kill
bacteria.
No kidding.
Yes. So when you yes. So when you're adding raspberries to there, the raspberries is proper frozen. So when it's a proper frozen, the bacteria is absolutely dead. There's no way they will survive in that minus.
Right.
So
that's interesting.
When you add into the honey, the slow process, the mixing is all coming in and all coming lovely. Doesn't between, I would just say, the honey between the honey and the raspberries doesn't split. Do you know what I mean? There's two different.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
Yeah. So, I've Flower Street Farm, he said is super exciting for my creaming attachment. Yeah, yeah, well done, man. That's the way forward. We go forward. That's
Yeah,
the money
man.
what you could. And also, a friend of mine, he doesn't fill up big jars. He's only fill up the small ones,
Yeah.
and he's selling small ones only on the market, small creaming honey, because he reckons that's the way to the money.
Yeah.
And a lot
I
of
mean,
people
it
does
makes.
it. Yeah, chilies. Not just example. You could go chili with honey.
Yeah, I do that. Hot honey.
Yeah.
Hot
Oh
honey.
yeah, I've had hot honey, man. I'm not a fan. That's not my thing.
Good on fried chicken.
You know what?
Beep.
You might be on to something there.
Yeah.
I might have to
I
recant
smell
my
more
statement.
from people saying, "Have you ever tried hot honey?" No. Well, here, hold this spoon. You know, I give them a plastic spoon. I put some in there. Oh, that's good because they get the heat and then they get the sweet, right?
Right.
So I'm like, now imagine that on your fried chicken. They're like, yeah, I can see Popeyes in my future right now. And then
that's awesome.
That 8-ounce bear, that's $15. Thank you very much.
I know.
So,
yeah, that's true.
Yeah. But they here actually someone they make bottles small bottles chilies make there with honey, and that's quite. I think they charge 15 pound per bottle.
Oh wow.
Yeah, but it's spicy. Yeah, but
that's interesting.
Yeah, I will try do my because I have a recipe how to do it, and it's easy to do. It's even like you do sauces and just make sure you know what you're doing. Don't put too much in there because you could overpower. Oh, basically, you need to put, you put too much chili in there. Nobody will touch that in the mouth because it's so hot.
Of course.
Especially in your place, you could buy a proper Mexican chili. So in your place, adding chili in there, before I will make sure test the chili. What
right. Don't melt the bottle.
Because some of the chilies were imported to UK from Mexico, and you could grow them here. They're not that hot. What you got them from Mexico?
Really?
Yeah, I have one.
Yeah.
Remember one day, a friend of mine, her husband working there in the warehouse, and she brought that in work. I could not even. Honestly, it was so hot. My mouth was steaming on this.
Little stinger hot honey.
Yeah. Well, my little stinger and chunks of jalapeno, habanero, serrano.
Oh, that's a bonfire.
This is my personal stash right there.
That's a high test right there.
And then this is the small.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, that looks good.
Tastes pretty good. Once I figured out, the moisture content has to be lower. Once you can get that moisture content in the pack.
Okay.
Ready to go.
Thing is, did you mix that or you just add to the bottle?
I chopped up. No. I take like a quart jar, a big jar.
Yeah.
And I'll chop the peppers up and I'll put it in the big jar, right? Yeah. And I'll let all the moisture and the heat from the peppers get into the big jar. Yeah. And then that big jar is like my starter.
Yeah.
So it'll have a really high moisture content because it's going to suck all the moisture out of the peppers.
Yeah.
So then you add more honey, right, to lower that average moisture content over the whole batch.
Yeah.
And you stir it in. You stir in the peppers. And I actually strain the peppers off afterwards and then add the honey back. And then I take a spoon and just spoon some peppers in it for decoration. But, but the heat is there and it only gets hotter with time. The longer it's in here, it seems like it gets hotter. Yeah.
Wow.
There's something talking about this chili. I think this is another thing what you could look into introduce in the market, because a lot of people like chilies and a lot of people like hot stuff. People like honey as well, and I think this is something really nice to get.
This half pound I'm selling for 10, and this 1 pound I'm selling for 15, which is a little bit different, but I get these
Come on,
bottles
Seth, you see?
like 50 cents, you know.
Oh yeah,
So-
no, that's good.
Yeah. So
Just
So-
increase the profit margin.
Oh yeah.
Bob, you have any good questions for?
I've already
Yes,
talked
I've-
to him, man. You've already blown it up. I've met him before. Quit
Anybody
selling
got
your
any-
damn hives so cheap. You're running all of us Nuke sellers out of business. No, I'm just kidding.
I don't want to rip everybody off.
The market,
I'm
yeah,
just
you,
teasing.
I told old Earl there, I said, I need to drive over there, but I think you're like 4 hours away from me where y'all are at.
Columbia? I don't know. I don't think we're that far. I say that I don't know.
What town are you in?
Clayton would be a good, you hit 76 and you come over here and you hit Clayton.
Clayton, Georgia. Let me see. Let's see. Distance to Clayton, Georgia.
So Seth, in the nukes, you could give a good tips as well, because I know Bob did mention before about it.
So nukes
When you make a splits,
You're 200 miles.
Oh wow, yeah. So that's a good. Yeah, it's about 3.5, 4 hours. But when you make a nuke, you talking about to sell or to keep?
to sell or even both for both.
So
I would say
selling one, the main thing to remember is that when they install that nuke, it needs to be ready to fill up that box. So it's got to have at least a good 4 frames of brood, maybe like 2 or 3 emerging frames and 1 young or 1 not quite ready to pop, and then a good heavy food to keep them until they get in their 10 frame box. That's the key to nukes. Now you don't want to, and maybe a few extra shakes of bees helps too. You want it to be good and full. You don't want it to be kind of skimpy or just all food or all brood. All brood will starve and all food won't grow.
Right.
But now nukes to keep, I will split just about anything at any size and try to make a nuke out of it. Big, small, smaller than small.
Yeah. What's about Seth? Bob has been mentioned about make a brood, make a split from 2 different colonies, make a nuke. So you make a brood box, one frame brood from 1 colony.
Oh yeah. So you can do that. The key to that is to either feed or use a queen cell. Like when we do queen cells, when I do queen cells, I'll line all my nuke boxes up, pop the tops on all of them, and as I fill them up, I'll screen them, put the lid on them, and put them on the truck. So there could be brood out of 3 different colonies going in that nuke. If like one, because I tried, if I'm making more than, usually when I'm making queen cell splits, I do 1 frame of brood. That's all you need. But sometimes I'll do 2 or 3. And in the event I'm doing 3, 1 frame needs to be kind of open, and then 1 frame needs to be good and hatching, and the other one can be whatever. So, it's got the potential to come from 3 different colonies. And when you're doing queen cell type of stuff, that's okay. The main thing about queens is you want them to get accepted. So if you're going to do that, you need to have good young bees and you need to have feed. They need to be gorged so they're going to be willing to accept her more.
Does Bob mention when you introduce mated queens in there, and you got split, you done a split, basically you done a split from 2 different colonies. There's better acceptance, which I done it last year, and it was like boom, with no problems in there. Didn't have any issues with accepting. Which previous years, when I make a split, I always 2 frames taken from 1 hive or 3, and you try and make it, and then something happen, boom, fail.
Right.
So when I mix it up from two different colonies or even 3, completely different, completely better acceptance. So
interesting. I believe it because there's a lot.
Smell.
Right, of course, smoke. Exactly. There's a lot more pheromones rolling around in there.
Yeah,
they're all confused.
They get confused.com.
So you sneak that queen in there. Neither team knows which one she's playing for.
Yeah, man.
So she doesn't know. She doesn't know what's going on. Any. So let's go to the public. Get the questions. Any got questions? Anyone got questions for Seth?
There's a 10-second delay, so
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah. By the time we hear it, then it's like 10 seconds after before it gets to YouTube, and then they answer. Then it's like 10 seconds before it gets back. So
I got you. I got to get used to this technology stuff. I used to be like, I don't need to know all that. Now that I got the YouTube,
now you're famous.
Now I'm famous and got to know how to do it all.
So you're saying with your, if you're just doing a queen cell split, you said you'll split it with one frame.
Yep. Yes, sir.
So
absolutely.
That brings up a great question, because I just got 5 queen cells today. So I made up 5 2-frame mating nukes.
Oh, yeah.
And I just dropped a frame of brooding bees and actually drawn comb on the other one. And then slapped a little bit of pollen patty on there and some liquid feed on the top.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
And then my queen cells are supposed to hatch tonight or tomorrow.
Oh, yeah.
And then I'm just going to take the virgins out there and roll them in. So,
yes, sir.
Hopefully they don't get picked off by some dragonflies or purple martins or something.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. No, yeah.
It's funny because until I started keeping bees here, we didn't have that many dragonflies. I never noticed dragonflies flying around, and now you're mating queens and got bees in the yard. All of a sudden I see lizards, like my empty equipment, lizards everywhere. they're like waiting to snatch them some bees,
Yeah.
And the dragonflies everywhere too.
So he's got a question. Yes, what do you sell a nuke for?
Oh, me? I probably about 185 ish. I have cheap nuke boxes. I don't have the jesters. I do the I don't know if y'all seen Bob's videos on his cheese board nukes. Oh, the pro nukes. Heck yeah. Those are a good nuke box. I don't use them, but they work good for what they're for.
Wait a minute. So how are you selling a nuke for 185 and whole colonies for 200?
Well, the equipment's heavily used. Like today, when I sold them colonies, there was more wire on the outside than there was on the entrance. Yeah, we basically wired them a cage to sit in on the way home. But if I get,
cut on.
Yeah, if I get into some newer equipment, I might bump it up to like 210, 215 or something. But 200, and 200 seems to be a good moving spot. Like if you put 220, you start waiting. You only sell like 4 or 5 a month. When you put 200 on them, then you start moving some colonies every week.
And rotate that old equipment out.
Yeah, exactly. Yep. Which I say that the only thing that's really old in my outfit is the boxes. And I call them Bob's hand-me-downs, but I'm appreciative, that he got me some boxes and stuff. And I bought some from him that he wasn't going to use anymore. So we got those. And
this was the first year I bought his double screen bottom boards. You helped me load them up, and I got some feeder buckets.
Oh, yeah.
I wish I would have bought the 1-gallon feeders and not the 2-gallon feeder buckets.
Yeah.
Because they seem to be some drippy bitches, man.
Mm-hmm. You'll use the 1 gallons more than you will a 2 gallon. Even, 2 gallons are for when you're wanting to get stuff really heavy, or if you're feeding a double deep, or if you're really trying to get some comb drawn in a single.
Right.
They give you a little bit more time to play with, but they work, And I'll tell you, if you're worried about it dripping too much, fill it up halfway and turn it over and let it catch a vacuum, and then just, put a gallon in it.
Well, mine, it's because of the temperature change at night.
Oh, that makes sense.
And then I came out to 1 colony. It was just like running off the entrance.
The 1 gallons do that too. They're not like as extensive as a 2 gallon because there's not as much space in there, obviously, but they'll drip a little bit on you.
Seth, question. Swarm managements. How you do swarm managements?
Swarm management? So I'm actually having trouble with this right now. But down south, I went to go do a check. I haven't put a video up on it yet. But sorry, I got an itch. But about half of my colonies were starting swarm cells. So that's why I'm going to split this weekend, because they need split. But usually what I'll do is I'll try to give them a box or something, and not, give them a little heavier liquid feed, not necessarily 1-to-1, because 1-to-1's actually very stimulative for them. That's almost like a nectar flow.
You kick them out, yeah.
The thinner you go, yeah, exactly. The thinner you go, the more stimulative it is. So if you thicken your sugar up a little bit, that's not like a knockback, but it's not like, it's a nectar flow. We're
after you eat Thanksgiving dinner and you take a nap.
Yeah, exactly, exactly. Another thing is equalization is probably my biggest swarm management tool. Making everybody the same size. And further on into like the summer and late summer, late spring, or early summer, late spring type of deal, we actually kind of have a second swarm propensity towards sourwood, oddly enough. And
we do too.
Then you can kind of play around with your boxes a little bit. You can crack boxes. You can crack lids because it's warm enough. They're not going to, and they're big enough, then they can defend their nest. But for the most part, what I've done is split them. Been trying to grow numbers.
Just keep them.
Yeah. Right. Keep them knocked back. Yep, pretty much. Try not to let the nest get too big. I let them get away from me a little bit this year because I can only go down there about every 2 weeks.
We get the.
Are you clipping queens?
No, I don't clip mine. The only thing I do to mine's mark them. That's about it.
We get the early spring swarm like everybody else, but then after the nectar flow, we get the swarm too. So
really, that's interesting.
We get late swarm.
Like our big swarm, which I say that this year it's early. Our bees are exploding on both fronts, mine and Bob's. Forgot what I was saying. The bees are exploding, so we're actually having to kind of knock everybody back a little bit further. And I have never used it. I used it this past weekend, and I'm going to put a video out on that too. But there's a couple of mite treatments, so you can kind of kill 2 birds with 1 stone here. In the summertime, maybe not so much because you got a little honey to play with. But in the springtime, you can actually knock out swarm control and your mite treatment in one blow. With there's Apigard, I know shuts the queen down for a little while. And then Formic Pro, I've heard, can shut them down if you use the right dose and don't cook the whole colony, of course. But that's what I've heard. And I tried the Formic Pro method this weekend, and I'm going back Friday night. So Saturday, we'll see how it goes.
See if you got roasted bees or not.
Yeah, I really hope not. That's going to put a damper on my everybody getting their bees and me actually being in the bee business or not.
Yeah, what's the temperatures you have in there now?
So they were, let's see. Hey, Hira is they were at 80 for the past few days. So getting up there, but I only did 1 strip. I didn't do a full dose. I did a half strip. So, and my plan is to give them 1 strip of Formic because I only bought 1 box, which is 60 strips. So I treated the whole yard. And then when I give them this brood break with these queen cell splits, I'm going to come back and hit them with OA. Yeah. And, because OA is cheap. I can get a 5-gallon bucket for like 100 and something odd bucks or something. It's dirt cheap.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah, but you hit them in half a dose, which is good because you didn't go for risk.
Right. Yeah.
Full and cook the colonies. That's the good way to do it.
Yeah.
We do have the Formic here in UK. Actually, I was looking on that.
Really?
Yeah, we have that on the market. Actually, foreign selling. So I was looking on that
There you
go. Possibly test on 2 colonies to see how does that get on there.
Everybody I've talked to that hasn't cooked something loves it.
Formic?
That's just The only thing about Formic is you just can't overdo it at the wrong time. You got to be really picky about your weather and the
weather. And if it's too hot, you'll cook that queen.
Yeah,
soon.
buddy.
You need to speak to the mother.
So I've been
Yeah.
I've been using the Apivar in the spring,
Okay.
and then after the flow, I hit them with OA.
Oh wow. Okay, I got
So
you.
I just kind of alternate them like that, you know. So
Yeah, I got you. That's a good thing.
I will hitting possibly another 2 weeks, and I will hit my bees in oxalic acid twice.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah.
I got you.
2 weeks from now, we'll be getting ready for honey flow. Like,
Yeah, well, in my area it's not, and they'll be perfect ready to the spring.
Wow. Okay, that's awesome.
Yeah. I will not keep it because
Right.
for me early this year, it's like yourself. I want to get splits.
Mm-hmm.
And
How many are you trying to go to this year?
Well, I got quite a few customers for the nukes. So
Oh, there you go. Yeah.
yeah, so I need to make a nukes.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
And actually come back people who did have nukes last year, and they have still colonies right now. So
Awesome.
they're happy. They want more. So no problem. I'm breeding queens myself as well. So I'm grafting and I'm breeding. So it's more for me.
So you're
it's more
sticking
sense.
your own queen in your own nuke.
No, oh, young ones. All young ones.
Yeah, not old. I'm sorry. You're a queen you have made in a nuke you're gonna make. Okay, that's sweet, man. That's cool.
Yeah, so I don't, and I'm trying to tell people don't buy overwinter bees, because overwinter bees, you know yourself, Seth, they just think about swarm. Young one queen from last year,
Right.
in the spring, she's just thinking about swarm.
I
Not
got
all
you.
of them, but
Yeah.
probably about 70 to 80% bee queens.
Right.
They will go for swarm.
Well, there's overwintered where it was a nuke made after the flow, and then there's overwintered where she ran the whole season, so she's already a year old by that time, right?
We've got a few overwintered that are blue dots, so they
you got to be careful with queens like this. They will go. They
well, what'll end up happening is you'll get that nuke to a customer, and she'll lay like mad during this first season. But then when winter comes around and she starts shutting down, you can't jumpstart that old Chevy no more, right? It's just not starting. I mean, that's what happened to a couple of mine. One of my biggest colonies out of a nuke, I'm like, brand new queen, brand new nuke, everything's good. Massive colony. Now she's in a 3-frame nuke trying to build back up, and she just won't get started.
So it's all about the drones population in the area where you mating queens, and that's true. You know, where I mating my queens, I got 12 hives over there.
Mm-hmm.
So there's a lot of drones. There's a lot of drones in there. So I'm due this year. We'll put them in another maybe 2 or 3 hives there more to make sure there's enough drones. And I'll try and keep them no spicy queens in there, no spicy colonies. Spices out in the area. You know, I don't want any spicy bees in there.
There you go.
So, and also, I did work out. One of our bee farmer, he's running about 500 hives they're running. They do a breeding queens for themselves, just for themselves, not for the market. And he said to me one very interesting thing. He said, when you're breeding queens, make sure when you got the mating area, make sure it's between the trees, not an open spot. So I asked him why. So he said to me, "I tell you why. When they're coming back, sometimes the wind is so strong, they confuse to the boxes.
Yep.
Even though you paint the colors, like I did mention, but remember I mentioned the colors before. Even that, because the wind is so strong, they got confused where they're going to.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
And he said, if you got a mating area between some trees or some between that's the best way to do.
Yeah.
So my one is actually, I got raspberries and there's growing like some bushes in there. So they are between the bushes in there. So the wind doesn't get them that much.
Oh wow.
Yeah. So so it's quite interesting. So I see Bob has got to open spaces quite. Oh, that's very interesting for me as well. How they how the successful is on the mating on the
The
Nukes.
open, yeah. You talking about the Walmart yard where we put all
the
the
big one, yeah, next to the motorway.
So it's open, but what it is, it's not well maintained. They've got little scraggly trees and rocks and sticks growing.
Yeah.
So they can, and there's wind come through there, but it's not like howling like over where y'all are at. I don't think. I think y'all get some like freakishly large wind up your way, don't you?
Yeah, we have,
Yeah,
we
get some, but most of the time, unless there's a big storm coming, we don't get much wind. So that kind of is what saves us, I think.
So, do you think you going to do this year 150 or not 300?
I don't know, man. I'm really trying to put my nose to the grindstone to get that to that 300 mark. I really want to see about 300 sitting on the ground.
Bob must love you, man. When payday, it all goes back to equipment and
stuff. Oh man, I don't make no money at that place. Oh man,
like okay, Seth, we're gonna make 500, but you owe 600 in boxes.
Yeah,
frame.
Yeah.
How you manage to do the equipment? How do you the equipment?
So a lot of stuff is hand-me-downs, and every once in a while I've got a list with Bob I keep of stuff he'll let me grab if I need it, and then I'll pay him back later. And if it's like feed rig stuff, I'll just go to Home Depot and get it. So
But so when you're selling nukes.
Okay.
You're not selling the nukes in there's like the cardboard.
No. So
nukes,
we got
one.
Right. Yes, we got a couple semi-loads of I don't know if you know what a cheese press is.
Yeah.
It's wax dip paraffin or paraffin wax dip plywood. So we cut that up and made nuke boxes out of it. And I think Bob got it for like $1.75 a sheet. You can make a nuke box out of like 2 sheets of it, 2 1/4 sheets of it, sides, front, lid, and bottom board. I think you get 2 1/4 sheets. So all it is, it's not really a sheet. I say a sheet. It's a 30 by 30 square. And we cut that up and make parts out of it. It's not really good for lids because they warp real easy, but it's good for bottom boards. And I made everything out of it: double screen boards, honey supers, nuke boxes, you name it. The only thing I would not recommend making out of it is a deep hive body because they get really, really hot. Like they're really, really warm. Our nuke boxes, we ended up putting not a screen bottom board, but we'd poke holes kind of like a double screen board and put hardware cloth over it and put some screens in there. And if you do like, we did the jar hole, the 70 millimeter. We put 1, but if you put 2 or 3, I think that'll help even more with ventilation and stuff. And you could go to the extent of putting a screen bottom board on them things if you wanted to. That would probably be the move, actually.
Flower Street Farm said is 2 nukes sold today. Is that right?
There you go.
2 more. Yeah, he's up.
I sold 3 singles today, so must have been in the universe today.
I'm in late now. I'm in late in that business now.
There you go.
The winter have to go. The winter have to go in here.
Yeah, buddy.
But
we need 2 more months of winter down here.
Let you get caught up with what you got to do.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Do you have what's it called? I did see Mike Berry have what's it called? Hive beetles?
Yes, we do. They're not a major problem when you've got big, strong colonies. But if you got because one of my queen mating yards is just to the south of us in Lakemont, and it's actually in Bob's drone mating circle. So I got lucky on that. But it's a really low wet spot and it's shady, and that's exactly what hive beetles love. So if you can avoid what's that?
They do have you don't have a lot of them.
I've got some. The easiest way to cure a hive beetle problem is to take the colonies that are in a shady spot and move them to a spot with full sun. I don't know if the bees push them out or if they, you're still going to have some, but they're not going to amount to a serious problem. I've never had a hive beetle issue yet, as far as,
better knock on that wood right next to you.
I was about to say, I need to quit running my big mouth, because every time I say that,
this is the year, Seth. You're going to succeed at having a problem.
There's a problem right around the corner.
So me personally, I got 30 hives, and I try and get that up to maybe another 10. I don't get too much. Go. But I need nukes because I know nukes. It's a most important in the winter time. People think it's not about for selling. It's whatever I will sell, but I will make nukes for myself. So I will probably make to overwinter. I will get 30 to maybe 35 nukes for overwinter.
You gonna use double screen boards?
Yes,
yeah.
I know. Yeah,
oh, yeah.
Yeah, I know. Yeah,
that's the ticket right there.
So to do that will get success in the follow season in the spring, because if you lose anything, you got a straight away spot to change that you lose. And also the Varroa, it's the key game basically. So I did use Apigard, not 2020, 2023, 2022 I used, and I was absolutely happy, because I remember you been with Bob Apigard on the Hives, you remember?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
And I've been done in the same time, and my bees was absolutely no issue with in the winter. I didn't have. I put Apigard and oxalic acid, and no issues.
That's the move. Yep.
And I didn't done it in 2023 like that way. I changed it a bit, because I wasn't trying Apigard. I said, well, I'm not sure if Apigard, because he's shutting down the queens a little bit.
Yeah.
So I was not sure if that will be good, but I know now I should repeat that again.
Yeah.
So the process this year, it'll be Apigard full stop.
Yep.
Because I know that works. And I remember a comment on the Bob video about asking questions how he put on the nukes, how much he put on the nukes, Apigard, and how much he put on full hive or double brood.
Mm-hmm.
So I actually done that way, exactly what he say on the nukes and that, and it was all beautiful went through the winter.
That's awesome. Well, good.
Yeah, so Apigard is definitely work. It's got to be put a right amount of there as well. So everything is like, if you don't put the right amount, so if you if you drink vodka too much, you get headache next day, or you'll be steamed. That's exactly the same. You overdo it, and
Oh, of course, yeah.
Absolutely.
It's the same thing.
Too much vodka? There's such a thing as too much vodka?
Oh yeah. Well, yeah. If you drink, a couple of lorries, and then you got a headache. So I got friend spoke to me today. He said, I can't drink. He said, because if I drink, I overdo it, and I'm sick for a few days.
Yeah.
So there you go. Same as the bees. You give them too much, and they have the same.
Oh yeah, absolutely. They feel the effect.
Then you say, so guys. So any questions you have to Seth?
You can go 1 to 10, buddy. Yeah, you got it.
1 to 10, easy.
Oh yeah,
easy. Yeah. We should all of breeding queens for ourselves. That's the best way to do.
Yep.
Steph could tell you, if you don't try it, you never will know.
No, absolutely. You got to get your feet wet, and you got to get in there and try it. And you're gonna make mistakes. I have failed a lot on my way. So don't be scared. Just jump in and do it.
Yeah. Just jump into it, and you will get success from that 100%.
Yeah.
So,
Oh yeah.
I agree with Seth. I done it, and I done the mistakes.
Oh yeah.
Bob done it, yeah, but you have 2 queens. So where you go?
No, I've got 2 cells. We don't have queens yet.
They will come.
We'll see.
When are they supposed to hatch?
He didn't ask queens. He didn't ask the bees.
I didn't ask the bees yet. Hold on. I have to put in my spreadsheet here. Where's it at? Queen grafting sheet.
40 to 60. That's a good one.
That's a good one, Flower. See?
Yeah. Oh yeah. 60 is a full-time gig if you're not throwing down, everything you got into the bees. 60 is a good number.
60.
So we grafted these on 2/26.
That's for you, Seth.
3. That means they were capped on Friday when I pulled them out. They are supposed to emerge on Thursday the 9th.
Okay. Yeah.
So
I think you're gonna have clean weather till then. So maybe
they're in the incubator, so they don't get much cleaner than that.
Yeah. Oh well, I mean when they hatch, I think the weather's supposed to be pretty clear all through next week. So that should be good.
So we're gonna see.
In the mating, yeah.
I'm grafting again tomorrow. So
there you go.
I added some. Matter of fact, you guys won't be able to see it, but I did the. You might be able to see it if I show it on my phone.
As far as storage goes, I use tarps. Yeah. Oh yeah.
Cover everything with the tarp.
Yeah. I don't have a whole lot of storage. I was fortunate enough.
So I shipped some more nurse bees out on my starter finisher, so they would walk all in the front, right?
There you go. Dude, that's a beast.
Overpopulate them there.
Oh yeah, there you go.
That's lovely.
That's a nice one.
You know what James McNally said? You may not have added enough. You might need more. I'm like, man, come on. I got to leave some nurse bees for my other colonies.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, there never is enough. Remember, more nurse bees, like Bob mentioned. More nurse bees, the better queen cells, the better queens.
Yep, absolutely.
And always, I believe, if you go up to 24 queen cells, and that is a good number. And if you get success hit on 20, basically get the success on 20, you're really doing a good job, because you imagine you do every, say, 7 days, you could take 10 days say, just example, you could take every 10 days graft out, and every 10 days you put graft in, and you hit it around about 20s. You make, in 2 months, you make quite a lot of queens, I'm telling you.
Oh yeah. Heck yeah.
Well, I've got, like I said, I got 32 frame mating nukes. I've got 35 frame boxes. So if for some reason I don't sell the queens that come back mated, or if I don't make a split, then I'll put another 2 frame, make it a 2/2. And if they grow too big for that, then I'll just take this 2/2 to a 5 frame. It's a lot more management doing it that way, though, right?
Yes. Yeah.
So, but hopefully by that time the colonies are big enough, I'll just rob a couple frames of brood, add that frame in there, and nuke it, right?
There you go.
So
that's a good, plan is very important. Very, very important. Without plan, guys, whoever watch us, Seth can tell you as well, plan is number one.
Yeah.
Your season have to be planned in the winter time, or even before winter.
Oh yeah.
What's your plan this year? Without plan, you fail. You fail straight away without plan. Don't just do things where you got tomorrow. Maybe I'll think tomorrow. Thinking forward, really far forward, and be positive on that. And make sure, it's like me, I broke world record. I know I could do it, and I done it. So
that's cool, man.
If you do a plan can fail, but if you do a right plan, it might not fail. You actually come to
yeah.
What do they say?
It's like Seth mentioned, Varroa, swarms, everything you have to get on the mark on the piece of paper and make sure yourself working on this day by day.
Mm-hmm.
So he did mention you how he's doing swarm. I managed doing checking boards early in the spring, and I managed to get quite success on that.
Checkerboarding's a good way to do it. I'll do
Yeah,
that
well,
sometimes.
That's come from your master. That's come from your master.
From Yoda.
From the master. So it's definitely work, and a lot of people doesn't know how to do it. They should go back watch. I actually go and find the video from Bob, and I actually go clipping underneath on my channel underneath, so people know what's how to do the checking boards. Some people doesn't know, and I think it's quite easy. You could make a wax. You could building wax. You could make a lovely split after, because you could build a colony to second brood box. You could make a few good splits from there, and then you go back again to the single brood if you want.
Yeah.
To the single chamber, and then again, if it's something flow coming in, you could see they start thinking on swarming, and there's a flow, nice heavy flow in. You could put add-in boxes again. They will keep them building, keep them busy, keep them busy. That's how I do. And I think checking boards is really good, and it really works. So
yeah, oh yeah,
give that queen some more room to lay up some more.
Heck yeah,
frames of brood, more to rob from.
Yeah, well, Bob, you done it. You put on a license, right? You put on a license on the box on top. So
yeah,
Bob's an example.
Oh, that license. Hey, they're not cheap. The license poly hives, but
no,
oh my
nothing
god,
cheap these days. Only if you make it.
So I made a mistake, right? I was starting to starter finisher, and I said, well, you know what? I just got these poly hives, and let me see what it does, because it's going to be kind of weak, and keep them warm. So I put 3 frames of brood in there and some food, and it was in a 10-frame box, right? So basically a nuke in the middle of a 10-frame. But I accidentally put the queen that I wanted to graft from in that box, right? So I ended up making another starter finisher, right? Which is the one I shook the nurse bees in today. But she's already laid that whole box up. And I had to add another box on this over like 2 weeks. I mean, she just blew up, boom, blew the whole thing up. So I've already checkerboarded another box on top of it, and I'll go in there and steal her babies from her tomorrow. And
yeah, there you go.
Because she's a beast.
Yeah, man.
And this is Bob. What Seth mentioned. Equalize your colonies.
Absolutely.
So this is another example. Colonies like that in the spring, absolutely fire to actually equalize all of your colonies and on really nice equalized power. That's just, guys, really.
One thing is,
you could have 1 or 2.
I need to equalize. Perfect. The colonies that are sucking hard right now, I don't even want to equalize them because the queen still sucks, right? So I want to replace her and then give her some more power.
So I say that if they all suck, it'd be kind of hard to do. But what you can do, if you're in that spot, are you talking about not wanting to take brood out of one and put it in the other one?
No, I mean, I don't have a problem moving it. But that queen, the reason she's weak, because she's
right. You just failing. Don't want her. Yeah, I got you.
So I don't want to. I want to re-queen her.
Yeah.
Then I'll equalize.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah.
So it's a little bit weaker, a little bit better chance of success in my mind,
right?
Than a massive colony, right? So then once she gets rolling, then I'll sneak a frame in, boom, let it hatch out, and kind of slowly help her along.
What you can do. This colony is quite nice, so that it's probably not spicy. That colony, what you have the double now.
I love working that colony. I just pop it open, bam, bam, pull them out, no problem.
Yeah. So
that's why that's my breeder colony.
Yeah. So what I would done, I would basically, if you want to move to add a nuke, take a queen out, I would make sure take the queen out and adding open brood from queen what she laying from this big colony, adding to the nuke.
Just do a walk away on
and
them.
I'll tell you what happened. you will get queen from the same mammy. What's the big one?
Yeah.
You will get all of them. I will requeen
So
that way.
you're saying just let them do a
Them.
walk away, then drop a frame in, let them make their own queen, and leave them alone.
And then that queens, I will take them out, and just you will get every single one. Look what you want change of a hive. That's how I would done it. So they will make from this frame. They will make definite queen cell, and actually you could
10.
cut you. Yeah, you actually will cut them off the queen cells as well, because there will be a lot of queen cells over there.
Yeah. Oh yeah. There'll be like 15 or 20 on one side of the frame.
Yeah. Yeah, and you will make a lovely queen cells. You will cut the queen cells, and then you will get lots of queen cells from that colonies as well.
Yeah.
Plus, you will get very good queens in the end.
Well, I could take that shitty colony, smash the queen because that's laughing, and then split her babies up and drop one of those new queen cells in each one of those, right? So
yeah. Oh yeah, that's a valid tactic.
3 colonies out of a crappy one with good queens, and then let them grow back up.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
So that's how I done a requeen. I requeen last year over 80% of queens and new ones.
How I did it,
and I do it this year again. So whatever is not good, I could see is not performing, they will go in without questions. I will breed in queens anyway.
So I was doing exactly what you're talking about right there. My first queens is, I wasn't grafting. I was doing walkaways and craziness, right? So I had 4 overwinter nukes that made it my first season through, right? After tragedy in the bee yard. But so I did that. I introduced a frame of eggs and larvae, and they laid up a bunch of cells. Then I took a bunch of mesh cups, and I would cover all of the cups with the mesh except for 2. And 2 would hatch out, and then I would take and put that frame, because they're hatching at all different times, right? Take that frame into another box, make a split. Well, queen would hatch out. Boom, let them out. Move the whole frame, the same frame. I moved that like 3 or 4 times and just let queens hatch off of it every time. And
that's a good idea.
I went from 4 overwintered nukes to 12 double deeps in 1 year doing that. I mean, it wasn't very aggressive splitting like everybody else is talking about.
Oh, of course.
But they were all good queens. They were all, picked from the best selection the bees could pick on the frame. So
yeah.
But now I'm trying for more control.
Yeah. With splitting, breeding queens is quite important. You got the drones once. Secondly, you got the location right, and then obviously the weather right.
Right.
And when you split the colonies, like Seth just mentioned, if you got nice open time when the queens get out for flight, there will be success in there without question.
Well, we have a special kind of weather down here, don't we, Seth? So it's a little bit different than like everyone's make strong splits, and I understand what James is telling me on make strong splits, but here, like Seth was saying, you can make a 1 frame split with a queen cell.
Oh yeah,
and
that's what we make here as well.
That's the way to do it.
And I mean, it might take them a little while to ramp up, but we're still before the flow. So she'll be back right as the flow's starting to kick off, and then she'll just go crazy in there.
Yep.
Two frames. If you I do with 2 frames. 2 frames. Yeah. I normally do with 2 frames split, and the 3rd frame I put is just wax, nothing else.
Oh, I got
you. They got work to do. As soon as they got the queen, they got work to do. They got building homes they got to do. They're not laying down. That's how I do. Everybody,
Yeah.
If I put too much
right here, ladies, let's get to work.
Yeah, well, absolutely. Yeah. Close up, get to work. Work.
Oh yeah.
Is just if you put too many bees in there, straight on a split, they go and swarm. They, as soon as you realize this, Nuke will be just go like,
oh yeah,
fire. Especially you put 2 frames brood in there, in a hive, fully brood, and they go emerge. That Nuke is just big.
Yeah. And
And James was mentioned actually. You know, then you sell the nukes, and the new beekeeper got the nukes, and he'd like, oh, there's no queen in there, or there's no, you know, yeah, there might be queen inside, or might already swarm.
Yeah.
If you didn't transfer them to the hives, then they might possibly they swarm. And it's not your fault. It's just basically they didn't have space. You should move them
of
to
course.
Well,
It's
that's all
being
bees do. Bees make bees and make honey. That's all they do.
Yeah.
Make more bees and make honey. That's it.
I try and tell to people buying nukes from me, say to them, look, can you transfer them tomorrow to Hive, straight away to Hive?
Yeah.
So because if you move them to the Hive, there's no way they will swarm.
Yep, exactly.
So,
they'll be ready to grow.
I do my nukes when I sell them 3 frames of brood, 2 frames of food. And if I open it up the night before they're coming to pick it up and it looks weak, I'll shake bees in.
There you go.
There's bees in and then close it up. So that way when they look at it, it looks nice and full. And, you know.
Very, very important. Yes, full. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I feel like they're getting their money's worth, right?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I don't want to open it up and see like a frame and a half of bees.
Really? $200?
Yeah.
But
no, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Kick rocks, kid. $200. Give it to me.
Yes, yeah, so over winter, Seth, over winter here, Nuke in UK is 320 pounds, 320.
Woo!
Yes.
What is that?
Last year in Canada, they were going for 600 Canadian dollars, like $500 a nuke.
Oh my God!
I would have loaded everything I could. All my colonies, I'd have split them into nukes and drove them up there.
We need to be going international, fellas.
And then drove back down to Florida and picked them up cheap and replaced them all.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But do you know what? It's over winter. I don't know why people sell them because they're over winter. They selling them for £300, and they selling like, you know, some of people they already sold out the nukes over winter.
I don't know, because I know when we overwinter, we call them overwintered nukes, but it's not really a nuke. It's more like a colony.
Yeah.
Especially the late fall. I'm sure you've heard Bob talk about late fall splits overwintering and becoming some of the best colonies the next spring. That might be why, but I don't think a lot of the people who are buying an overwintered nuke know about that. I don't know. I could be wrong about that. It could be the more experienced nuke buyers getting nukes and stuff. I don't know.
I try and tell it to the new beekeepers, do not buy, you know, over winter, because there is a straight away, we know this is young queen, there's a swarm. So
you see what DC
they are expensive.
DC said the one thing about making a nice looking nuke is they are closer to swarming. Well, not if you take them home and put them in a bigger box when you get them. You can't.
That's the way you do it.
Don't take them from a nuke box to a nuke box. You take them to a nuke box to a 10 frame.
Absolutely, Bob. Yes, I agree. There's a lot of people like you know. You could shake a bees in there. You could give them extra bees in there. Fill up the hive, the nuke, and if the beekeeper new or experienced beekeeper doesn't move the bees next couple of days to,
they're gone.
They're going. They just decide to get fine now. I am going on a tree.
Well, if you do a good, but if you got a nice strong nuke and you move it to that 10 frame, you can give them a month and you could split that nuke back to another nuke, right? Yeah. You could lessen the strength of the colony.
Oh yeah, of course.
But
you could make it. You know, if you got call it brood factory, which is Mike Palmer have. That's just an example. If anybody watched, I'm sure Seth working in the Bob, but I'm sure he watched some of his Mike videos as well.
Yeah, oh yeah, I've seen some of Mike. Yeah, he's got some good stuff.
And the brood factory is one of the things where you could make a lot of quality nukes, a lot of quality queens, and if someone do follow that, it will be successful.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
That is the way to go forwards. You know, you could get, say, example, you got 50 colonies. You could get 20 colonies for typical for brood factory, and 30 colonies you could get produced colonies. So the 20 colonies, just example, you could have produce nukes, you could produce queens.
Yeah.
A lot of this stuff.
You don't need
to get decide 50 colonies is going to be for split, completeness split. No.
Yeah.
30 colonies still bring you bonus, basically, bring you gold to the hives.
Mm-hmm.
I call gold honey. That's our gold.
Liquid gold. Hell yeah.
Yeah, that's a liquid gold. That's natural liquid gold. The best gold in in the planet you could have.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
So,
it's one of the few things on planet Earth that's good and good for you. So
yeah, oh, absolutely, yeah. So me personally, I just think lots about how we manage this, how we manage beekeeping, how we manage our bees. Some of beekeepers, they think they don't need to do Varroa treatment. There was Corey Stevens was a lovely interview. I'm sure did you watch that, Steph? Maybe about Corey Stevens.
Did you do one with him?
No, it was with it was Greg. Bruce was doing with him. Bruce was doing with him interview.
I don't know if I saw that one or not.
You missed that. It was about doing about Varroa. So it's a very important. Like he does a lot of work. Corey does a lot of work about this, and there is no way if you don't have right bees, then you're not going to treat them.
Oh, right, of course.
Yeah, and there's a lot of people think, oh, my bees, die. Of course, because you didn't treat the bees.
Oh yeah.
So
treatment-free beekeepers are great customers.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree with you. I got actually a friend. He did actually lost 2, and then he came back and he said, "Oh, and I said, well, I told you." He said, "Oh, I want them for free." I said, "Well, I don't think so. You will get like that. That's like it's very difficult, and if you not treat them,
yeah,
and they will basically die. So
they will, yeah. Something will get them if it's not the mites,
Yeah. One question I have just got popped up in my head. Nozema, how?
So I'm not really sure in my area of the world that Nozema is a big issue because they don't stay in for. Isn't Nozema like a tracheal thing or something to do with the breathing?
Yeah.
So our bees actually get to fly good enough, I think, that they get out of the colony enough that it's not really an issue. I don't think. I've never had a problem with it. I might have had a few colonies die from it and been like, oh, well, why did this one die? I don't know. Stack it on something else.
You reckon more of a winter time when they are more sitting down, drinking cup of tea and are in hives?
Mm-hmm.
That's the Nozema part of.
Yeah, I would think so. Like I say, I don't really know. Most of what I know is from what Bob has taught me and told me. So Bob doesn't worry about it. So I just,
Yeah. I agree with you. Yeah.
I haven't really.
That's a good point, actually.
Yeah.
So basically, the bees go in the gym, working, and not sit in the hives. Yeah. Yeah, he said here, Canadian beekeeper.
Gut spore. Tracheal mites is a parasitic and they get it in the breathing tube.
Yeah, I know that.
A gut spore. Okay, interesting. Yeah, I think so. Then we probably wouldn't have a problem with it because if they can fly and defecate, then all's well in the colony. So,
that's yeah, that is interesting. Yeah. Wow, this is a mic over here.
You think OA vape slows the queen production down any?
Usually when we do it, we're broodless. So it's wintertime. They're already pretty much shut down. I haven't noticed any effect. My emergency mite treatments, I smacked them with 2 or 3 rounds before I went south. And once again, the queens were ramping down. They weren't quite shutting down or shut down all the way. They were ramping down, and I didn't really notice much of an effect because as soon as I took them south, they started exploding. So I'm not sure. I might get to see some of that this summer if I do some oxalic acid in the summertime. But as far as I know, oxalic acid is kind of a one-shot deal.
I haven't noticed it.
I was about to say, they say the legal dose is like 4 grams a box. I run Provap 110s.
4 kilo. 4 kilo.
4 kilo?
Yeah.
Everybody knows
well,
that the legal dose. Nobody uses the legal
dose. Yeah.
It's that legal dose.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's like you're going fishing. What size did you catch? He says that big.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
No, it's like you say, if you treat them right, not overdo it, then yes, then you definitely got success on that. They might be shut down. They do shut down. I never see them. I done it last year on one colony, and I didn't see she stopped laying. She was laying all the time. So I don't think so. That is that.
Right. The only thing I know OA can do is stress a colony out and make them kill their queen. I have seen them do that before, but you know, nothing as in the way of slowing down production necessarily. Not like Apagard or Formic or something like that.
Yeah, well, that one thing. If someone didn't test, just don't overdo it.
Right.
Don't put too much dose in there because Greg Burns, he actually done. There's an interview about. He actually mentioned about it. What happened in Nooks and Hives. If you put over too much in a Nook, you actually could kill the colony basically.
Oh really?
Yeah. Well, if you put too much of
he had a horizontal hive that was divided up into 2 or 3 frame mating nukes. Yeah. And he had someone helping them, and they were doing a full dose per each box. So one colony, right? It's just gotten 5 times what they should have gotten.
Yeah,
so there's just steady. How to say? Just do steady. Don't try and
Yeah. Oh yeah. Of course.
Especially new beekeepers. They don't know.
Right. Of course. Oh yeah. Absolutely.
So, all right, we're gonna wrap up, guys.
All right.
And anybody got any questions? Because we're moving out in a minute. So Seth give you some answers maybe, or Bob.
Man, they talk to me so much they ain't got no questions for me.
I might ask you on the grafting, Bob.
This is about Seth.
Yeah. Everybody.
I was just looking at my swarm lure over on the Amazon.
Oh yeah.
Seeing how it's doing. It's doing all right. All right today.
Are you catching swarms, Seth?
So I usually don't mess with swarms much. I've toyed with the idea of running a trap line, but I really don't have time. I've got more bees than I need. Unless there's a swarm like head high and I can just shake it into a nuke box, I don't mess with it.
Those are usually ones people call you. Hey, you want to come get these bees?
Yeah, I've had a few of those.
All right, so you're not on fancy messing about with swarms, but yeah, that's
not much. I've also thrown the idea around of getting a high velocity swarm catcher and trying it out on YouTube, but well, it's kind of a redneck type of deal. But what you do is you take a 410 shotgun and you take the shot out of it and you pour rock salt in it and you can shoot them out of the tree. I know a bunch of old timers that would take 22 rifles and just bust the limbs with the gun, and then when they fall on the ground, they'd catch them.
Just put your swarm box under it and let them fall right in.
Yep. How much aggression in bees comes from the drone? I would imagine it's half and half. I'm not really sure on how all the genetic mating and stuff like that works, but if the mama's calm and the daddy's mean, the kid's going to be temperamental, I would think.
Could be either way.
Could be either way. It'd be half and half, I would suppose. That's why it's very important if you're trying to get whatever genetics you're really striving for, your drones are your biggest. Obviously, the queens are also a big factor in that. but your drone, having the right kind of drones is a major help.
Did I get my Queen sounds installed in your nukes that you picked up?
Cells, maybe?
Cells. Yeah, I got them installed in my incubator. They're going to hatch out tonight because I wanted to give my my mating nukes 24 hours without any queen in them. And then I'll go back and knock any queen cells they may have started down and walk her in, right? So
did you Bob, did you put them the queens
hell, I might have queens in there right now. They might be in the other room watching.
No, but I'm saying the nukes, the nukes are or mated, mini mated nukes. What they are?
They're 2-frame mating nukes, 2-frame deep.
Right.
I got you.
So, and that's one of the things when people are like, oh, well, you got to have it jam full. Well, I see people using a little cube with like a cup of bees in there, and
right. That's
so she don't need much.
Right.
So
I got one mated with a half-drawn frame of eggs and a jar one time.
In a jar?
Mm-hmm. Not in a jar, with a jar on top feeding it. I had a colony. I actually made a colony with a half a frame. Not a queen cell, just took a half a frame of eggs and like a shake, not even about a half a shake of bees. And I fed it a quart jar and came back, 4 weeks later. And she was in there crawling around. So
I've got, my first queen, it's the first time I used a double screen bottom board after Hive Life, right?
Yeah.
And I had a couple colonies making cells in their medium. Of course, they couldn't mate them in the deep, medium, right? So we made up some splits, and one of them came back, made it. So she's in there walking around now. So the other one is trying to do it again, trying to make another queen.
How's it running mini mated nukes? I running as well in mini mated. And I don't see issues there. You just need to be in time taking the queen out.
Yes, absolutely.
Mated. Yep. That's the only domain is you need to go on time and take the queens out, because if not, they go and swarm.
Mm-hmm.
Other than that, it's actually good, because So in here I take basically as soon as I put the bees in there, I put for 24 hours in the dark room. So all the mini mated nukes and put in dark room and dark shed, or so it's cool, little bit cooler. So they there, and there's all the poly, and then we take them, and then I take it down in the mating area, and then adding the virgin, or you could adding queen cell in there. But virgin is, for me, it's easy, because one day virgin, they don't know what that is. It's just a bee, just open in, let them in, and then play with no problem. You could put. So here, it's not much virgins. The people do produce some virgins in selling, but in Poland, I know they do a lot of virgins. They produce a lot of virgins in selling, because a lot of people do nukes, splits, and all that stuff. And a virgin is easy, because you buy a virgin, you let the virgin mating in your area, and it's nice. You can have nice queens in the area. So
oh yeah.
Then you buy a nuke, buy a queen, mated. So if you produce them, there's a lot of work down there. So
it pisses me off more than anything when you go and buy a $40 queen and you put her in there, and they let her lay a little spot up, and then they kill her, and then they raise a queen off of her. You've seen it, right?
Oh yeah.
They'll let her lay up like about a softball size pattern,
just enough to have to redo it.
Make a queen cell, yeah. I'm like, really? $40 for that?
But that's another thing as well. I believe Seth could tell you, they're killing the queen.
Mm-hmm.
And do you know why? I could tell you why. Possibly, the one thing is the queen, it didn't lay enough.
Yep.
When they took it from the box. So if she's some mini mated nuke, and someone did see size of say brood of size of
grapefruit,
yeah. So you think is enough? I don't think so.
No.
I think this brood, it was not even emerge.
Mm-hmm.
Possibly, that's the one thing where it's a queen. You put in a nuke the bees realize what you're giving me. You're giving me crap. So that's what they took it out to her straight away, and they once built their own queen. Because if that queen is mated in queen castles, like in the deep boxes, and she's, of course, if you take her from mini mated Nuke and you put her in normal for frames, when she's laying, say she's laying 1 Langstroth frame, that is a lot. That quality queen is already. If she got lovely pattern food, you buy a queen like this, most of them they will accept her. Most of the bees will accept queens like that.
Absolutely,
she's already laying so much, and the queen, it's already got the smell correct, and all this, all the qualities come in. But the bees, like, if she's not laying enough, she was just laying a little bit, and so they just basically say, so what enemy you put me here? They go and kill her straight away. So
absolutely. That's one of the biggest things Bob tries to teach us when we're doing our queens, is that they need to lay for at least, like, I think we pull them on day 23 or 22. And I get why big queen breeders pull them in 2 weeks. They get another queen
to go behind her
per cycle. Exactly. And I get that from a monetary standpoint, but from a quality standpoint, it's a big disservice to your customers.
We make a numbers, but the numbers doesn't mean a quality there. The quality is not here.
Right. Exactly. Yep. Quantity over quality type of deal.
Yeah. It's better basically produce, 100 queens and get the 100 top quality, but nobody can complain.
Yes. Yep.
I know a lot of people say, "Oh, you done something with your splits not right," and things like this, and yes and no. Yes and no. That's my opinion. I think if if it's aggressive colony, then yes, then you got to do a lot of things to get actually to get it sorted out. That's not easy way to do it. But if it's colony nice, calm, and everything, and you put bees in there, that is the way what I could see problem.
Like that cutout colony I did, I put 1 frame of brood in there to keep them in that box, right? And they generated queen cells. I haven't been back in them since. There's nothing I can do for them, right? They're going to raise them, and I just put some feed on them and leave them alone. I'll go back in a month, and if they got a lane,
absolutely,
they're good to go.
Come back in 4 weeks and see what's up.
So thanks, Seth, for coming in.
Oh, absolutely, man. It was good.
2 hours. Nice to meet you, man.
Kind to meet you anyway.
So thanks for your time.
Man.
And have a wonderful beekeeping. I'm sure
we'll try to.
Some of the guys, you could give them some tips before we go. What they should do, or if you could give them before we go.
Oh yeah, man. So
every new beekeepers, or if you do nukes, and giving a couple of minutes tips what they need to do. And I'm really pleased you coming in there, join us and chat.
I appreciate you inviting me, man. This is cool. I like doing these live streams and stuff. This is kind of neat, getting to meet everybody from now internationally. Getting to meet all kind of people. But so the biggest tips, if you want to grow and do stuff, is just don't be scared of work.
Right.
And, if you're going to try to make splits, you're going to lose some. So when you lose some, don't get so discouraged. Like I say, when I said at the beginning of the talk, we make mistakes, and you got to look at what you did and try to fix it. That's the only way you learn and you grow. But if you're wanting to make some successful splits, Bob Binnie's got a good video on double screen board splits. Those are my favorite style. If you're using queens, if you're doing queen cell splits, 5 frame nukes, 1 frame of brood, a frame of food, and let it cook for 4 weeks and come back is the next way I like to look at it, or my next favorite split. But just anyway,
frame of food, frame of brood, and let them go.
Yes, sir. Yeah.
Or frame of brood and feed the heck out of them.
Or feed the heck out of it. Yeah, brood in a 1 gallon bucket. Yep, that'd do good. The only thing about feeding them is when you do stuff like that, they plug where she's got to lay whenever she comes back and gets mated back up. Right. So they're kind of fighting for space then. But
I get to see mine every day. I walk past them. So my 2 framers, I just got a half pint on them, and then I'll go back out there. And usually at night, I'll put them on at night so they have all night to eat without any pressure from anybody trying to rob them out. You know,
I got you. That's a good idea.
So, yeah, I give a good idea on this as well. Make a split. Make sure when you make a split, make sure the split is correct. Make sure you take a look if that queen is in the hive.
Oh, absolutely.
Took it out with her, because I done it myself. I took a queen with the split, and then just looking. And I'm looking on that, I was like, "Oh no, it's the queen in there already."
Yeah.
I nearly put a queen in there, made this queen in there. It will be disaster. So make sure you know that there's no queen in there. If you make a split.
Oh yeah.
Or if you take a queen, then you make sure you know there's the queen in there. So that's what I will give you tips, guys. And thanks very much for tonight, and have a wonderful rest of the weekend, guys.
Yes, sir.
And the rest of the day as well.
Good to chat.
Absolutely.
I'm pretty sure Steph's going beekeeping. Keep going beekeeping today. Do you? Or are you finished now?
We're done now. It's 9 o'clock. It's dark over here. I might work on a YouTube video now. But tomorrow we're actually making a weekend push with Bob. And then hopefully I'm going to go get me a little truck tomorrow so I don't have to drive my gas guzzling feed rig everywhere. But but we'll see how it goes.
You could add all your live chat. You could add to your channel to, I don't know, pretty sure is you could add to.
Yeah, you got to do is share it.
Yeah, you could add.
Share it.
Yeah, this is news to me.
Yeah, so all of your live you could add to there, so people will be more. Other people will see your live chat.
So what do you do?
Like you have with Greg. Yeah, so
like on the YouTube video.
Yeah.
If you're watching on YouTube right now, there's a little button that says share.
Okay.
And you just click it and you just write a little, hey, I was live wherever over here on Beekeeping and Gardening, and then it'll share on your community page.
Oh, no kidding. Okay, that's cool.
You could adding on community page, on your community page. So every your live chat what you done with Greg, you could add it there as well, and people will watch it, because some people doesn't see you been in there. You've been in live chat.
I know what you mean. I got you.
Yeah. So
I'll have to do that. I will. Yeah.
Thanks, Steph.
Absolutely. Thank you, man.
I will contact Bob, because I need him for one of our. I'm organizing for. It's like a Kante beekeeping evening. So I want Bob to get speaking about bees. So probably it's around about 2.5.
He'd be the expert.
He's going to have the Jedi bee trick.
2,500 beekeepers down there. So there will be some of them will be love to listen, Bob.
Wow, man, that'd be sweet.
Yeah.
He'd probably go for that. I can't speak for him on that. Sometimes he will, and sometimes he won't. But he'd probably go for it.
Yeah. Well, it's probably for an hour, even an hour.
About an hour. So, yeah, he'd be fine.
Yeah. Thanks very much, Seth. And Bob, thanks Bob for coming as well. And have a fun, guys, and have a wonderful beekeeping.
We'll see you later, guys.
We'll see
you later.
Bye. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.